The Florida Gators have landed their potential QB1 in 2026 as Aaron Philo has committed to the Florida Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free with us in the podcast and on YouTube. And we've now got this interesting little situation. I'm Brandon Olsen, by the way, host of Locked On Gators, lifelong Florida Gators fan. We've now got this interesting little situation where we started going live because 24/7 reported Florida has landed a transfer commitment from Georgia Tech quarterback Aaron Philo. And then now On3 is saying, hey, he hasn't committed yet. So we're in this interesting spot where Florida has maybe landed their starting quarterback, maybe not. We may have a case of 24/7 spoiling a kid's commitment, which is awful. But either way, we will turn this into Florida is expecting to land the commitment of Aaron Philo, Georgia Tech quarterback. And we could talk about this regardless. Sorry, I'm just still looking at my phone because I'm trying to see if anybody's going to properly handle this. But it's interesting now because, it's fun to be first, right? It doesn't matter about being right. And yeah, that's what it is now. And hopefully not. Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, I don't think it'll be that situation. But yeah, we're still gonna go live and talk about the potential of the commitment, right? And we're gonna have some fun there for the Florida Gators. Maybe landing their starting quarterback in Aaron Philo. It's going to be something that, we talk about quite a bit, and then we're going to look at quite a bit. Also important to just acknowledge that Iowa State cornerback Jontez Williams has committed to USC, which sucks. He, of course, was supposed to visit Florida this weekend and then pushed it back. And the whole situation was just odd because I think it was On3 reported that it was pushed back because of a funeral that he had to attend. And then like 20 minutes later, it was like, hey, he's going to be visiting. He's going to be visiting USC. And it's just a really weird situation. So we're going to talk about this as Aaron Philo is expected to. That's what Matt Zenitz of On3 has reported. And I guess that's what we can cover it as, right? Is that he's expected to commit to Florida. Because, and look, when he does commit, if he does actually commit, then we can talk about that as well. But it's also just weird that I hate that we're in this time where everybody just, it wants to be first and all that. But Florida is expected at least to land the commitment of Aaron Philo out of the transfer portal. And hey, good with it. Honestly, like we'll talk about this when Florida actually does land the commitment, which apparently at this time they have not actually landed the commitment. So thanks for that one. But yeah, Florida expected to land the commitment of Aaron Philo. Of course, was at Georgia Tech with Buster Faulkner, who is now the offensive coordinator at the University of Florida, and is going to be our offensive coordinator here, was the offensive coordinator there. Okay, I'm glad you said that. So Tony said, sorry, Brandon, but I'm not impressed with a QB who couldn't start for GT. Will Griffin is my guy. Which fair, if you're a Will Griffin guy, you're a Will Griffin guy, right? You can be that. But I want to pull up Aaron Philo, or I want to pull up Haynes King and what his production was like at Georgia Tech, because I do think it's important to just acknowledge. This year, he had basically 3,000 passing yards, right? 2,936, 14 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Then running the football, when you don't account for sacks, 1,000 rushing yards. Like you can say what you want about, oh, he couldn't start over Haynes King. Haynes King was basically a 3,000 yard passer, 1,000 yard rusher with 30 touchdowns. Hey, Jeremy. Yes, I know Aaron Philo has not committed yet. It's very annoying. And yeah, it is what it is. Expected to commit to. I'm sorry, I'm updating the title of this. But yeah, so Aaron Philo expected to commit to the Florida Gators. Not surprising. I mean, we've kind of all been expecting that, right? And we can all be happy about that possibility. Again, I know that there's some people who really don't like him, and I get it. I'm gonna say this. I'm not exactly enamored with his film. And we can have conversations about what he brings to the table physically, what he brings to the table mentally. I really don't think that that this is as, I want to say, I feel like a lot of people on social media, especially right now, are trying to go like, oh, like he's QB1. I really don't think it's as clear cut as that. Yeah, Haynes King was top 10 in the Heisman. Like, I don't think it's as clear cut as he can't pass Haynes King, or as clear cut as, uh, you know, Florida is bringing in Aaron Philo to be QB1. This is very genuinely, in my experience, this is very genuinely going to be a quarterback competition. I think we can really take solace in thinking that it's going to be a quarterback competition, because when you look at what Florida has brought in with Tramel Jones and what they've done in the transfer portal of who they've looked at and who they've looked to, I think it's pretty clear that, you're not bringing in like any bona fide starter. That's been a big thing for Florida, is that they're not bringing in this bona fide starter. We talked about it with Colton Joseph. We talked about it with Rocco Becht. We've talked about it with everybody that has hit the portal at quarterback that Florida Gators fans have wanted. The thing that we've always talked about is this is going to be a legitimate quarterback competition, and you're not getting a starting quarterback in that competition, like, or a bona fide starting quarterback. Bona fide starting quarterbacks, proven starting quarterbacks, established starting quarterbacks are not coming to join a quarterback competition where they might be a backup. They're just not doing it because that's too risky for a guy in college football. And I know people could talk about, wanting to duck competition or whatever it may be. And like, sure, you might be right. But at the same time, these guys are going to be told by their agents, by their handlers, by the people in their circle, hey, you're not guaranteed to start here. You've been starting. You're not guaranteed to start here. And that matters, because in college football, you don't usually get the opportunity to be a proven starter or an established starter, get benched, and then come back at some point, sit on the bench for a year or two and then get back into the starting role. It's very uncommon in college football. That's just not how it works. And in the NFL, sure, you could do that because you can have a longer career as a backup. You've got a longer window to do all those things. In college, you really don't. You've got a few years. And if you're an established starter, you're probably already through at least 2 years, maybe 3 of your college career. And things just get wonky there. So you were never bringing in this established starting quarterback that we all know is going to be the guy, the dude, whatever it is. It was always going to be, you're going to bring in guys that can compete. We talked about that with Kenny Minchie, right? When people talked up Kenny Minchie, I was like, look, I don't like what Kenny Minchie brings to the table because he's lost quarterback battles, or Notre Dame has gone out of their way to introduce a different quarterback that can start over him instead. But I do think that you could also talk about how he could at least come in and compete. He's not an established guy. He's going to be looking for a spot at, he went to, I think it was Nebraska. But he's going to be at a spot where, he's now more likely to get a starting spot. And that's the situation he's in because he's been a backup for years. And you can't be a backup for years and all of a sudden come back and be like, oh, by the way, I'm going to lose another quarterback competition. I'm going to be a career backup in college. Career backup in college, that means that your career is over. That's what that means. If you're a career backup in college, your career is over. And that's what you've got there. So it was always going to be bringing guys to compete. Aaron Philo, one of those guys who's coming in to compete here. And for the Florida Gators, that's what you get. Like, that's what you're probably getting. I know initially this was, Aaron Philo committed because that was the initial reporting. I went live and then on 3 was like, actually, he hasn't committed. Don't know why you said that, but it's not true at this point. And so Aaron Philo has not committed, but he is expected to commit. We'll talk about what that means for the Florida Gators, both now and for the season when we get back with Locked On Gators. Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. So before every tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, a little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. And there is nothing better than an atmosphere of college sports, right? Personally, college football is my favorite to be in. Just it's electric. College basketball, also wild, especially when your team goes on a big run, or I guess we'll say the home team goes on a big run. It's just the crowd goes crazy. It's nuts. That's why Gametime gives the advantage back to fans. It's the easiest way to unlock amazing college tickets and experiences in just a few easy tips. And then now we have Gator Country saying that Aaron Philo is committing to the Florida Gators. I don't know what's happening, but I hate it. Okay. But I hate it. And other people are also still saying that even after Gator Country said he's committed, no. I don't know what is going. I feel like we need to finish an ad read. That's what we need to finish. Take the guesswork out of buying college tickets to Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. We're going off the rails. Gator Nation just has no idea what the hell is happening in our world right now, and it's a really, really fun time. Love doing that. Love just being in that space, right? It's definitely not chaotic at all. But Florida has apparently not landed the commitment of Aaron Philo yet, but is expected to land the commitment of Aaron Philo. And look, whether or not it is happened, is happening, is expected to happen, it really doesn't matter. We've been hearing this since Florida hired Buster Faulkner, right? That they were expected to land him. And that is what it is, right? I still think that, within 24 hours, he'll probably be committed to the University of Florida. It's just right now he apparently hasn't officially done that, but I still think that it'll happen. And I say within 24 hours just because I'm saying that's when visits will end. And I think when visits end is when you'll see those commitments happening. But again, for the people saying like, oh, he couldn't beat out Haynes King. Haynes King was a 3,000-yard passer just about and a 1,000-yard rusher this year with 30 touchdowns and was top 10 in Heisman. I think he was like number 9 in the Heisman voting. You couldn't beat out a guy that was ranked as a top 10 player in the country. Oh, you suck. See how silly that sounds? I get it. Like, nobody here loves Haynes King, right? No one's obsessed with his game. No one loves what we see there. That doesn't change the fact, though, that he's been incredibly productive and has run this offense at a high level and played winning football, by the way. Haynes King was kind of the culture changer at quarterback for Georgia Tech because he was someone that came over from Texas A&M and no one cared about him. No one wanted him. He came over right away in Buster Faulkner's first year at Georgia Tech, had 800 rushing yards, almost 3,000 passing yards. Okay. Had a ton of turnovers in that first year. Then his second year, Less productive because he was banged up, but he protected the football significantly more. Kept it well. Morganic Media, dang B, do you ever sleep? No, I don't. Josh said, big respect, bro, burning the midnight oil. I'm going to be up for another few hours. So if Florida gets to commit within a few hours, I'm going to be up for it. But anyway, yeah, Florida expected to land Aaron Philo. Like that's so good. I like him. I do. I'm not amazed with his film. I'm not enamored with his film. I don't think he's a spectacular quarterback. I don't think he's a program changing quarterback. I don't think he's a guy you look at and you say, oh, that's QB1 undoubtedly there. I think that this is a guy you bring in and you say, hey, we've got you and we've got Tramel Jones, and we can say Will Griffin, we could say Aiden Warner, we could say anybody else on this roster in this quarterback room. And you guys are going to duke it out. And whoever wins is our starting quarterback. And I think that's what you're doing. Aaron Philo might have a leg up, right? Because people can say, all right, well, Aaron Philo's been with Buster Faulkner for a couple of years. He's comfortable in the offense. He knows the offense. Well, Tramel Jones has chemistry with the receivers. Tramel Jones has comfort. Tramel Jones has actually played in an SEC game before. Tramel Jones, physically, honestly, just might be more talented than Aaron Philo. More athletic than Aaron Philo, I believe. I think the arm is comparable. I would give Tramel Jones a little bit of a leg up on velocity, arm power, arm strength, whatever you want to say. I'd give Tramel a little bit of a leg up there. But physically, I think Tramel might be better. Aaron Philo might be more comfortable. But, I do believe the coaching staff when they say this is going to be an open quarterback competition. Whoever runs the offense more effectively, more efficiently, and whoever scores more is who's going to be our starting quarterback. Because, we've heard it, right? John Summerall has said, hey, offensively, we care about scoring offense. Defensively, we care about scoring defense. You know why he said that? Because points win games. I don't care if you have 100 yards of offense, but you're scoring 30 points, don't give a damn. If you're giving up 550 yards of offense, but you're allowing 12 points per game, don't give a damn. I'm good with it. Simple as that. Philo's a game manager plus, better than Mertz, not a splash guy. I think he could be more than a game manager, but I'm not going to argue you on that, frankly. Do you expect Florida to still pursue a second quarterback in the transfer portal? I think maybe. I think they might look for another guy that can come in and compete, but I don't think that's their priority right now. That might be later in the window. I think that's the best way for me to explain it, because it's also something that I've talked about, or like that I've had this internal conversation about, where it's like, okay, well, if you bring in another guy to compete, then yeah, you got a room full of guys that are going to compete, nobody that's bona fide starter, but it's also more difficult to get another guy to compete, because you've basically got to get someone that has almost no proven experience, no proven production, no proven anything, and say, hey, you can come in, you don't have anything proven, you don't have anything guaranteed, but you can come in and compete, and if you win, and you're the starting quarterback. If you don't, you lose, and then take it from there. And so maybe, like, I don't know, maybe bring in I don't know if he's committed anywhere, so apologies if he has, but maybe you bring in an Austin Carlisle from Houston, who's just a great athlete, and you say, hey, come in and compete for quarterback one, and if you lose, be a receiver. He's fast as hell. He hits I think it was 23.5 miles per hour on the GPS. So maybe you say that, right? Maybe you just say, hey, we're going to go get an Austin Carlisle and come compete. And if you lose, you can play receiver and some kind of adjustment like that. But even then, that doesn't seem like a great strategy, right? To say, hey, our starting quarterback might be a receiver. It's just weird. I think you're in a really weird spot. But I do think the important thing for Florida is that I don't think Tramel Jones or Aaron Philo are these program-changing quarterbacks, okay? But I also don't think you need a program-changing quarterback in 2026. I think you need a competent quarterback that can keep the offense on schedule and on task. That's it. Worry about being able to field a legitimate offense, and then worry about going, oh, we need a guy that's going to be an elevator, right? DJ Lagway, I think, could have been an elevator in an established offense. Frank, I think DJ Lagway could have been an elevator of an offense in an established offense with a scheme, system, offensive line, all that stuff set up already that's competent. And you didn't have that. I think you could look at a Tramel Jones and Aaron Philo and just say, hey, just come in and have your offense, have your guys. That's going to be it. I really think everyone's downplaying or forgetting about Will Griffin. I think he has a strong chance of starting. I don't, mostly because he's a true freshman. We have no idea what he's going to look like. And his film from 2024 to 2025, he took one of the craziest steps I've ever seen from a junior year to a senior year film. But we don't know what he's going to be. We don't know what he's going to look like. We don't know any of that. And so it's just really tough to go, yeah, you're going to come in and immediately earn the starting spot over guys that have at least been in college and know what the speed like, and know what the speed's like, know what the schedule is like, in the sense of, classes, lifting, practice, film study, all that stuff. Like, he's never done any of that. It's tough to project what he's going to be able to do, what he's not going to be able to do, what he's going to know, what he's not going to know. But again, just to wrap this up, in 2026, I think you just need a guy that can run the offense. If you get Jaden Baugh back, I kind of just trust what Phil Troutwine's going to do on the offensive line. He's a coach that I trust. I think in the trenches you have that. And so I trust the offensive line behind Phil Troutwine without knowing what it's going to look like. He's just a coach that I trust. And so saying, hey, we've got this offensive line. If you have Jaden Baugh at running back, then you have Jaden Baugh at running back. You've got talented, dynamic receivers in Dallas Wilson, Vernell Brown III. They're pushing for more receivers in the portal as well. And you go, all right, we've got this. We just need a quarterback that can get these guys the football. I think Aaron Philo and Tramel Jones can both do that. Hell, if you want to talk about Will Griffin, sure, he could do that as well. Aiden Warner can do that as well, maybe. I'm not tied to anybody. I don't need you to be a star. I need you to be a quarterback that can run the offense. Sure, game manager, sure. Just you need to be a competent quarterback because this offense should be able to at least help this defense a little bit. This defense should be good in 2026. You need an offense that can just put up some points and not shoot them in the foot like we saw all 2025. It's as simple as that for me. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free with us the podcast and on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow morning at the absolute latest. If there is a commitment tonight, we'll go live to talk about the commitment actually happening. We'll see if it actually does or if any more sites are going to report that it's happening and then not. We'll see about that one. But for Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to listen, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever it is that you want to do. Follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI and swampsignal.substack.com. And I'll see you all next time.